get into your safe spot in your house. That's the lowest floor of your home, the most interior part of your home, away from exterior walls and windows. It'll be coming up on the Highway 49 corridor, Highway 17. We'll zoom in just a little more closely here and get some Doss Road, Sand Road, Holly Street, the small community of Holly Grove right there, East Lake Lane. If you're in those areas, or Williamson Road, get into that safe spot in your house right now. I'm going to pull out just a little bit right here, show you what we've been watching as the storm had some wind really start to come with it, row, and then points eastward. I don't know if we'll be hanging on to this tornado warning for long, but it is a hail and a wind producer, and so that's why we have this in effect for a little while longer. Tornado warning. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning for a storm near Pine Bluff. And this is a hail producer as well, but it doesn't have a big hail signature. It's right there on the north side of Pine Bluff, and it really doesn't look terrible to me. It certainly doesn't have any rotation with it. That's good news. But it did have some hail potential, and so we're going to continue to watch that as it moves just on the north side of Pine Bluff and then up toward Altheimer. Whitehall, you're getting a lot of rain with that, but the hail threat really was, and I'm going to go back just a few frames and I'll show you why this was issued, but there was a hail threat, and it just doesn't look like a big hail threat along with that. So here's the storm as it moves through the Pine Bluff area, but there is the tornado warned storm within a large severe thunderstorm warning. Let's look at our new, we're going to get a new picture of the radar wind inside the storm as well. Duncan and Holly Grove, again, that area. And I'm trying to see what the National Weather Service is saying about this storm. It certainly has a lot of wind with it. We're going to continue this for east central Monroe County, but there you can see the boundaries of Monroe County, and it's south of Clarendon where there would be some rotation indicated with this storm. Our atmosphere is not super conducive to tornadoes tonight, but there is a lot of heat and moisture there. And some of these might, as they get a little farther to the east, have some ability to rotate. I think we're seeing that right now, but I don't expect it to be a long-lived tornado. But we're just going to say, if you're in that area right now along Highway 17, out in advance of this, Highway 86, that's where you need to get into your safe spot in your house. And there's still some indication of reds and greens together right there. Winds going away from the radar site and coming toward. And an area of rotation would be right there near the small community of Duncan. I think that is just a tiny bit old, this radar shot. Can we go to storm scan? And I will maybe give you a little bit better indication of what we're looking at here. Just another indication of this storm pulling up on Holly Grove, and right there is the rotation that I think we're seeing. It's right on top of Holly Grove right now, and there is some wind that's trying to wrap around a center of rotation right there. That's wind bowing out. If in any event, this is a wind producer right here. This could be a sign that the storm is really starting to have a great outflow to it, but there is some rotation, kind of a lesser wind field that's coming back toward the radar site. So in Holly Grove, you need to take your precaution of getting into that lowest floor of your house, the most interior part of your house. You get away from exterior walls and windows. And we're going to continue to watch this storm until the rotating part of it is gone. It will still have a wind and a possible hail threat, though, with it. And let's take a look and see. It's kind of a larger area right now that we're looking at, all the way extending back to Humnoke. Stuttgart, you're going to be on the tail end of this. There could be some tiny hail in some of those spots. But the hail threat, possibility of severe hail, really has grown there around Holly Grove, between Rowe and Casco, and along the White River. That's going to be a big hail threat, an inch plus in diameter, it appears. But there is the red outline of the tornado warning. Still a little bit of an inflow there as far as the rotating part of that storm, but I don't think it looks as pronounced as it did. In fact, I think wind is probably our biggest issue with this. As far as the Little Rock area, we've had the rain go through. There's rain, thunder, and lightning, even a little bit of a hail threat in eastern parts of Saline County that is not warned right now. And there is still that hail threat, but not a huge one in southeast of Hot Springs. And between Hot Springs and Malvern, there is a little core that could be severe warned, but only for hail. And so watch out for the possibility of that. I think what we've seen is these storms pulse up and they kind of pulse back down and have hail, large hail, and then they collapse somewhat. So we're going to watch all of these storms. Hail is the main threat. Still watching the tornado warned storm, though, in Monroe County from Blackton down to Holly Grove. And Holly Grove is a small farming community there. And right now I don't see a great sign of rotation, but there still is some along with that. So we're going to continue to watch this storm and its attendant hail threat. And I think that's starting to come down too. 1.5 inches in diameter hail, that was just earlier. We were looking at maybe a 2-inch in diameter hail estimate. So this storm, hopefully, because we see its hail size starting to come down, we can infer that maybe its ability to rotate or produce a lot of wind could be diminishing as well. And we'll certainly keep a close watch on that storm. But I'll put all of these storms into motion, and you can see how the one is moving south of the Little Rock area. The Hot Springs storm that was moving across Lake Hamilton is not warned right now. But I would say take a precaution there along Highway 270 northwest of Malvern, because this looks like it has some potential for some hail along with it, as does the storm that's headed toward East End. Not a great potential, but some potential right there. So several storms. The one in Pine Bluff doesn't look as vigorous as it did, but there's plenty of lightning and thunder along with these storms too, and a small hail core there out to the east of Pine Bluff, and that would be along the highway, Highway 79 there, out east of town. Still, a tornado warned storm. We're looking at what the National Weather Service is saying about this. They're probably looking for one more scan at least. And there is some wind coming out away from this. This is a windy producing storm and a little bit of inflow back toward, but not a ton with it. And so tornado warned, yes, but hail, I think, is still our biggest threat with this, and it doesn't look quite as strong as it did. And so we're going to just continue to watch this storm as it moves through. I'm going to back it out for you and show you the progression of this storm as it moved out of Prairie County into Monroe County and points off to the east. It'll be crossing over into the northern part of Phillips County pretty quickly, because this has really started to pick up steam as far as forward movement. From Wabaseka and Altimer down toward Pine Bluff, there's a storm there with a hail core in it. And the hail probabilities with that, I think, are still really, really weak. So lightning and thunder, absolutely. Gusty winds, you bet. But a big hail threat, not right now on that storm, although it is severe thunderstorm warned, and we'll watch for it to possibly ramp back up in some manner as it crosses Highway 88. But for now, I don't see any rotation with that storm, and that's some good news. And as far as the radar is concerned, it presents just like that. There's that one small storm around East End and another storm north of Malvern that does have some small hail core along with it, but that too doesn't look all that bad. And it continues to move fairly rapidly, kind of off to the east-southeast as it moves into the northern part of Hot Spring County. We do have, well, looks like that tornado warning has been discontinued for the eastern part of Monroe County. And the National Weather Service, their thinking on that is that it has really lost its rotating characteristics, and that is some good news in all of this. So as we move on into the next few minutes, we'll keep a close eye on the hail part of this storm. And the rotating part of it, yeah, I don't really see it anymore. So which are the ones that are producing hail right now? Well, the most likely would be northwest of Malvern. That is not warned, and it's just a tiny little indication. And then the one around Holly Grove, which still does have that indication of some hail along with it. I'm going to give you kind of an overview here. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning has been continued out into Lee and Phillips County, and we'll continue to watch that storm. But I think hail is the main threat with all that. Let's just go over everything that we're seeing right now. See, this storm, it'll be moving into Lee and Phillips County near Marvel, back to Wabaseka down to Pine Bluff, and then a storm moving through the Stuttgart area, not classified as severe right now. Could be some wind with that as well. And remember, these are severe thunderstorm warned, so winds up to 60 miles per hour. That's not impossible, certainly, but hail remains our biggest threat. If any of these start to rotate, we will, of course, come on and be right with you on those. But they're really, the hail threat kind of dwarfs every other threat that we've seen with these storms for tonight. The main tornado threat has been well up to the northeast of us, and we're going to continue to just keep an eye on these storms and other ones. Now, if they start to pulse up or have any hail threat that becomes really apparent, and we're kind of watching this storm around Malvern right there. Again, the hail threat does not indicate as really large hail, though. Kind of looks worse maybe with just heavy rain than maybe it actually is. But there's a lot of lightning there in Malvern, and 270 as it moves kind of at the junction of 270 and 30 there to the north of Malvern, and then extending up to just south of Benton. There's a storm just south of the Little Rock area. No big hail indication with that. Other storms scattered out through Lonoke County, through Jefferson County. This still has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but for now, I don't see a big hail threat with that. And I'm looking at some other sources here, and I don't see it as well. And even the hail threat over into Monroe County looks like it is diminishing. We only have really 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, or 2 warned storms right now. And the hail threat still continues around Duncan and Holly Grove over in Monroe County. But even now, it doesn't look quite as bad as it did. The sized hail that's estimated there would be ping pong ball sized hail, perfectly capable of leaving some dents in your car. And corn and crops that are up, if they're up of any size, they're going to have some maybe leaf damage along with that. And so we're going to have to kind of keep a close watch on these, but that is the main threat for this evening as these move off to the east. And again, a fairly rapid movement. Stuttgart, you have thunder and lightning moving through there. I think at some point they're going to drop this severe thunderstorm warning northeast of Pine Bluff because the hail threat with this, I think, really is quite small. Could be some small hail, not saying that there wouldn't be that, but I think the hail threat with this is just not all that great right now, and the National Weather Service will have to make that determination, but I'm just telling you kind of what I see, and the other storms south of Little Rock and north of Malvern. It's been one of those nights where we have seen just a few storms, but we thought, well, if any of these storms can get going, they can get up high enough in the atmosphere, they will be what we call elevated storms. So they really got going. Once they broke through kind of a little cap, then they got up into some cooler air up aloft, and that's how they grow up, and that's how they can produce such large hail. And we've had several spots, 2-inch in diameter hail in Lake DeSoto and Hot Springs Village. But the only 2 warned storms are right now in Monroe County, in Jefferson County, extending over into southwestern Arkansas County. And this one just doesn't look all that strong. The hail core of this one, though, near Holly Grove in southern Monroe County, I think that's going to be our biggest threat for right now, and it will soon move into Phillips County, which is technically over into the Memphis television market, but I know some of you do watch us over in that northwestern part of Phillips County, southwestern Lee County as well. We're going to continue to watch these storms tonight. If any of them rotate, obviously we'll be back on with you, but these are the storms that we see right now. If they begin to ramp up, we're going to be coming back, but for right now, we're going to send it back to programming and just let you know that we're watching a couple of storms. I really think the tornado threat is low. I don't know that we had any tornado touchdown with that brief tornado warning, but if anything looks like it is rotating, obviously we'll be back on with that. Download the KATV weather app for instant notifications that you can set whatever warnings you want to where you are on your mobile device or at home. And keep it tuned to KATV.com as well, and right here on Channel 7. And we'll keep you updated throughout the evening. But for right now, just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll continue to watch this one out to the east of Pine Bluff. Let me take one quick check of it before we go to see if I see any indication of hail along with it. And it just really, I'm looking at it in a couple of different sources here. And the hail threat, yeah, it's out to the south of Altimer, but the hail size there would be tiny. Yeah, just marble size hail, so less than even a ½ an inch in diameter. So that would be tiny, tiny hail. And then the other one that we're concerned about is over in Monroe County, and it still has some hail threat along with it. This is Highway 17, Highway 86 that breaks off northeast of Holly Grove. As far as the rainfall with that one, it continues to just pound rainfall, and that's one you can see for a long way, the lightning and thunder from that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning about to move over into Phillips County. Keep it right here on Channel 7. We'll keep you updated on all of this, if there's any rotation or anything of note coming up, and we'll watch until all these storms die out tonight. For now, we'll send you back to regular